אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו.
Amen.
Video for a second.
I'm going to do it.
Yes. Our Shiur Torah tonight, the last week of חודש אדר, ושנכנס אדר מרבין בשמחה. Now is the end, because next week is already the month of miracles. And being the fact that this is the end of 60 days of happiness, I will bless the family that took this month upon themselves, the captive family, Yuri and Rachamim, with their own father and mother, Rafael, that the Almighty God will give the captive a long life, and a healthy life, and a happy life. והריקותי לכם ברכה עד בלי די. Yuri insists that it's going to be in month of Adar. So Yuri, I insist to bless you and Rachamim together. That God will give you unlimited happiness. That you're going to wake up in the morning with a smile. And you're going to go to sleep with a smile. Once again, my name is Rabbi Vaknin. And I approve this message. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to share with you 3 advice. Each one of them have the ability to literally change your life. I wish that we're going to take from these 3 advice, one of them, and we apply it to our life. Your life is going to be 120 years of happiness. The first one is advice and a message from this week parasha. That you're going to know which week. This week parasha is Shaki Tazria ve'Yalda Zachar. In the beginning of the week, in the beginning, the first word of the parasha is when a woman have a baby boy. What's the secret of having a baby boy? My older brother said if a man want to have a baby boy, this is the first secret. There are many secrets. One of them is hospitality. Hospitality is guaranteed for baby boys. How do you know? Sarah Imenu had hospitality, the 3 guests. What exactly happened later? A baby boy arrived. From here the Gemara learn that hospitality, inviting guests to your house, is good for a baby boy. In other words, is which way you sleep in, which direction of the bed. East to west. You put your head in the east, meaning you have to direct the bed. This is segura to Banim Zacharim. Reb Chaim Kanevsky writes, Limud Torah, studying Torah, is guaranteed for baby boys. But what this week said? Last week we spoke about kosher food. And this week, Ishak Tazriya ve'Yalda Zachar. If you keep in kosher food, not only that you're going to become a kosher human being, sincere, sensitive, a holy human being, because not kosher animals, they are cruel animals. Kosher animals, none of them eat another animals. All of them eat what? Grass. So they are sincere and sensitive. You are what you eat. One side benefit is that you become a better human being. But another side benefit is that when you keep kosher, even when you go in the summer or in Pesach to Aruba, Isla Mujeres, Mexico, Cancun, Gehenna, all these places, even though that you're going all to these places, and especially if you're going to Israel, don't be light in kashrut. We are intent to be very light when we live in New York. Rabbi, I eat kosher, only kosher meat. But fish is okay. Salad, it's okay. Who told you that this is okay? I don't know. But you decide that this is okay. It's very severe to eat pizza from Pizza Domino's, or from any pizzas, to eat fish, especially to eat salad. I'm not going to get you into details, but not kosher salad is the worst thing that you can eat. Pig is nothing compared to salad. But Rabbi, Caesar salad, only cucumber. I go green, I'm going green, only green. If you know how many bags they have in every unkosher salad, they have a family with children and grandchildren and parents, Rahmat Kolam, grandparents, everybody together. And for each one of them is 13 pigs. Eating each bag is 13 pigs. Rabbi, pig, oy. Who said that the salad is better? The salad is good. Rabbi, I'm cool. Chilling, salad. Don't become religious. Don't become black. Let me breathe. And I tell you, if you want Banim Zacharim, last week, the parasha finished with what we call kosher food. This week, this unique chidush by my brother, a tzaddik, Rabbeinu Naftali. He said, this week, Shaki Tazriya ve'yada zachar. When a woman conceive, she bring a baby boy. But the Khatam Sofer is asking a question. And the question of the Khatam Sofer is, this week parasha doesn't talk only about babies. Maybe the first few pesukim. Right away we're changing the topic, and what's the topic? Leprosy. You know what's mean leprosy? Leprosy is one of the worst sickness that a human being have. First of all, he expelled from the community. He cannot live in New York. He have to go to the desert and sit by himself. Nobody can get close to him, not even his wife and children. You have to be completely, it's like COVID-19. Let's not go far. Welcome to the real life. COVID-19 is leprosy. When I had COVID-19, I was in the basement for 1 week alone. And my wife taking food like this with it. Nobody can get you. They come with the mask. You remember that time good? It was maybe 2 years ago, 1 year ago in Pesach. It was doing, Rosh Hashanah. Yom Kippur, I was not in the synagogue. Last year, Yom Kippur, I was not in the synagogue. I was in the basement, lonely, feel abandoned. Feel that, you know how difficult is that? In the holidays, being a rabbi. This is what leprosy is all about. And the Khatam Sofer right. You know what is today leprosy? The Chafetz Chaim right. What's the leprosy of today? When business is difficult. When a person loses all his money. It's the punishment of Tzarat. Leprosy of today. Today leprosy is losing the business. So a person asks, Rabbi, what exactly this man did? That nobody can talk to him. Everybody called him, you are unpure. And in simple words, you are no life. What exactly a person is supposed to do in order to get such a severe punishment? Listen to this. זו תורת המצורע. מה זה המצורע? מוצירה. מוצירה meaning a person that you ask him, how was the day? Bad. How was life? Miserable. How is your wife? Horrible. How is your husband? I stuck with him. They always have negativity to say. A minute that you speak negativity, רק כל היום, a minute that you complaining, God do not like you. How did the Pasuk said? ויהי העם כמתאוננים, וירא בעיני השם. When you're complaining, you're bad in the eyes of God. In the eyes of God, you're bad. Very simple. So what do you have to do? When they ask you, how is today? Life is amazing. Oh Hashem, Chasdei Hashem, Hashem, Hashem. How is your wife? Yes. God gift. Well, give. No one better from you, my wife. The Gemara said that every man have to tell his wife when you're looking in the eyes of your wife, look in my eyes. I have to tell you something. What do you have to tell me? Every woman except you look like a monkey compared to you. You are this Gemara said, you are the most beautiful woman in the room. So when your wife is looking in the mirror and said, Mira, who is the most beautiful woman in the world? You have to scream. And you have to mean it. Don't have generally. Don't make balagan. You are the one. I got married with the most beautiful woman in the world. That any other woman is monkey. Gemara mefurshit. How is your children? My children is the best. How is your husband? מה זה? אין על בעלי. אין. בעלי is the star of the world. אין על בעלי. When the wife of Rabbi Akiva got with Rabbi Akiva, got married with, I will tell you who is the wife of Rabbi Akiva. The daughter of the richest human being in his generation. Put all the Jews today together. And nobody compared to this. This man, Kalva Savo, was a multi-billionaire. And his daughter is getting married with a person at the age of 40 that doesn't know how to read, doesn't know how to write, got fired, have no jobs. For 1 year, nobody want to accept them. Who want to accept 40 years old person? When they have young people that can change the world and pay quarter salary. Why do you have to pay so much, right? He had no job for 1 year. Gentlemen, what your wife is going to do if you're not going to have a job? Why? I got married with a loser. They told me do not get married with him. My family told me in the beginning. You know what she did? She said, Akiva, the world is not recognized what a gift you are. 1 year she's whispering, thank you Hashem for having such a husband. You know what exactly happened? She made him to believe in himself. When he believed in himself, he became the biggest rabbi in the world history. For 1 year, when he had no jobs, he had no money to pay rent, no money to pay tuition, no vacation, no nothing. Instead of embarrassing, instead of complaining, she said, Ein al Bali. Bali is a genius. The world is mistaken, not my husband. My husband is the greatest. You see what the Khatam Sofer writes? You want to have unlimited parnasah? You want to have unlimited shalom bayit, beriyut, atzlacha? You will never get sick. Remember, don't ever complain. Don't ever complain. How is life? Ani Noshem. Bless you, God. I'm breathing. The baby is alive and is kicking. He's kicking. He's kicking. We are kicking. We are alive. We are alive. What a lucky. What a lucky. So this is the first advice. Remember, stop the complaining. Nobody likes to be next to people that all day long complain. God also doesn't like it. God become upset. It's very bad in the eyes of God when you complain. This is the secret of life. Learn how to say thank you. Learn how to appreciate this one. Second message is, if I'm going to ask you, but today I'm going to prove, which character, which act, Shmuel, is the most important act in life in general and in marriage special? Which character is the most important? What do you say? Take this, what do you say?
Gratefulness, considering that there's
Appreciation. Beautiful. Saying thank you, appreciate it, mean it. Okay, one. What do you say, Dr. Yitzhak? What do you say, Dr. Yitzhak? Which character, which act is the most important act?
Trust.
Trust, having faith, trust in each other. Beautiful. What else? Go on, which one?
Generosity.
I'm going to tell you now today something that, which one?
Generosity.
Beautiful. Very important when the husband is large. Shopping, generous. Be generous with your wife. Not only charity. Charity, they give. And they give you credit card, $150 unlimited. Every time you have to beg him, hello, please, I'm begging. Give me another $20. That's it. You give charity large because you like to feel shuvuni, like you are somebody, everybody respects you. Bullshit, the president. My wife wake up in the morning, she said, "Shto Yishmo." I said, "Nachzeh." She said, "Bullshit, Salama." I said, "Chuda bashkur, Chuda bashkur." Yuda, you like to feel big shot? Remember, big shot, be big shot with your wife. Generosity, I love it. What else? Shmuel, which one? Shmuel, talk to me. Which character, which act is the most important? Kindness. Kindness is, yes, kindness, generosity. Coin, which one coin?
Forgiveness.
Very crucial and important. Baruch, which one Baruch?
left off.
Left off. Baruch said good heart. Connect to himself, you know. Easy to sell yourself, easy. Trying to sell himself. Baruch is selling himself. Left off, kapara, left off. Left off, Yitzhak, left off. I will tell you which character, and I will prove it to you. to be quiet.
Wow.
To be quiet. Not to respond. To be quiet. It's 10 times better from talking. We love the rabbis that have the ability to talk. You know, this rabbi gave speech. Wow, oh la la. And I will tell you what's better from speaking. Not speaking. Not speaking is the greatest character. It's the highest level of character and act that a human being can do. How did the Gemara said? Mila basela, mishtuka batri. You know what I said right now? If for every word you're going to get $100, for every word that you're not talking, you're going to get 200. Everybody in this room knows that your wife might get upset that you didn't give compliment. Okay. That we didn't speak so much. Some of us is sorry that we're not so compliment, we're not so verbally when we express our love. But how many people in this room and throughout the world sorry for something that they said that they wish they never said? Years later, sometimes you make such a stupid comment because you're upset or something, and go and try to take it back. Nobody was ever sorry for not speaking. I didn't say anything. That's it. Life is amazing. The hospital is L'Shem Shamayim. You eat it for the sake of God. The one that teach your wife to cook was a blind man and deaf and mute. Balagan, the hospital, the worst food ever. Go and make a comment. Your wife buy a dress. She love it and she asks you how is the dress. And you looking, right away you take the glass, you said, Allah Panim, why, the worst dress ever. Now go and be honest. For 3 weeks, you're not going to talk to your wife. She's not going to talk to you. Who told you to tell me that those is not good? I have to be honest with you. The greatest character that you can have, the greatest act, don't talk. Don't talk. Nobody ever said, okay, so you're going to eat the little hospital. And then you're going to run to your mama to have the other one, the original one, the good one, the good one. The good one. Ay. Not to talk. I will prove it to you that is much better from what Chazal said. And I will prove it to you from the Torah. Ladies and gentlemen, two animals sacrificed themselves in the time that we left Egypt. You remember the 10 plagues? And right after when we left Egypt, which two animals is the only two animals that sacrificed themselves to do the will of God? We had many animals, lice, any animals, but they didn't sacrifice, they did. God is the owner. But it's two animals that went above and beyond to do the will of God. What's the name of this two animals?
Frog.
Who says father? Frog. What's the sacrifice of the frog?
They went to know.
They jump into the ovens. You know what it means to jump to the oven? Jumping into the oven, on the way you say Kaddish Yato. Eat Kadash, and then you jump in. You're going to die. Why? Because God, Moshe Rabbeinu told Paro, you're going to have frog even in the oven. So the frog came and they said, Moshe Rabbeinu, God said, we have to do it. You know what they did? They jumped into the oven. What a beautiful sacrifice for the sake of God. Yuda, do you know what is the reward? What's the payment that they got? What's the payment that they got? They got 2 years extra life. None of them died, and they had extra 2 years from all the friends. Anyone that sacrificed himself got what? 2 years bonus. Beautiful, no? And the life of a frog, 2 years is a long years. So they had a long life. What's the name of the other animal that sacrificed? You that do not respond. Eh? No. Almost.
Grasshopper.
Almost. Sheep, yes, they did that, but they didn't sacrifice. We sacrificed them. They didn't jump to the fire. We took them and we made the, shechita and everything. Beautiful. Baruch, which animal sacrifice? You know what's the name of the animals? Dogs. You remember when we left Egypt, it was the 1 million dogs. And dogs usually, what is dog is doing? Barking. Rottweiler was German Shepherd. American Shepherd, British, all the shepherd was there looking, and Kaddish. And happened to be that all of them, the pasuk said, "Velo yichratz kelev et lashono." None of the dog barks. According beautiful, huh? What's the payment that we give to the dogs? Do you know what's the payment? What's the payment? Anyone here know what's the payment? They got paid for it. Every unkosher animal, if the shochet made the mistakes and he killed the animals in the wrong ways, what do you do with the animals? You know what you have to do, Michael? לכלב תשליכון אותו. You have to give it to the dogs. Not for 2 years. 3,334 years ago. Until today we have this obligation. They got paid for over 3,000 years. How much paid the grass, the frogs got? What's the payment of the frogs? 2 years. 2 years. They jump to the fire, they sacrifice, they scream. They got 2 years only. And the dog, because he was quiet, they got 3,000 years. Ah, Michael, being quiet is good, being quiet is good. Being quiet, but it's against your nature. Dog is barking, dog is never quiet. Your wife makes you upset. She drives you nuts and you have to respond. Your husband came late and he doesn't even look at you. And when you're speaking, he's screaming and shouting. And you have to respond. The greatest character that a person is supposed to have is keep quiet. Do not speak. Nothing is greater in this moment. And there's no greater reward. It's like standing Shmuel and Yom Kippurim and Sha'at Ne'ilah. You know what Sha'at Ne'ilah? The last tefillah in Yom Kippurim, instead of paying $25,000 for $40,000 for this 5 to 10 minutes, every time you keep quiet, the gate of heaven is open. Whatever you wish. Your wife is screaming, shouting, not only you not respond, you're mumbling. God, dear God, make sure business is going to be good. Make sure, make sure my wife's going to continue to scream. I love the voice, what a voice. Make sure my children, Be'ezrat Hashem, will be growing up to become Talmidei Chachamim and righteous people. And she looked at me, what you do? What are you mumbling? I'm not mumbling. I'm just praying to God. The rabbi told us on Wednesday that in this moment, the gate of heaven is open. And there's no better gate that open in your life from the moment that you don't respond. Somebody scratch your car, or somebody cut you, and you want to respond. You open the windows and you want to bless him, his father and his grandfather, and the whole family until Avraham Avinu. And then to describe to him what his wife and what his mother is doing, and what kind of job they're doing, and you feel in Bukharian, and in Russian, and in English. לא עליני ולא לכם, that the Jew is going to go solo. Ladies and gentlemen, this moment you close the windows and you say, God, dear God, I need a wish. I have a business meeting right now. Make it happen. Kapara alecha, make it happen. You're going to see every time it's ahead of you. God will test you. He will bring you either your worker, either your friends, either your son, or either your wife. Will send you a message with this red emoji. You know the emoji? The red one, the Aina Ranekara. Pegara, this one, she sent it to you screaming. And you cannot hold yourself. In that moment, you lost the blessing. God wants to give you such an open heaven. Yitzchak, the gate of heaven is open. Kapara, Dr. Isaac, the gate of heaven. Binyamin, you're going away from that small place to huge. The biggest mechanic in the whole fight battle. But what you have to do is, when Bella is screaming, Hashem Melech, Hashem Malach, Akadosh, Bella, do not stop, continue screaming. Mrs. Meirov, Yuda, when your wife is there, tell her, do not stop, scream louder. The only problem in your home is no test, you never scream. Scream from time to time. This person's going to get reward, unlimited. Be quiet and do not respond. I told you, every message of tonight is going to be a life-changing message. Ay. It was a minister of education in Israel. Cohen, you know what's the name of these ministers? Mr. Abuav. Mr. Abuav, minister in Israel. And he knew how to speak 15 different languages. France, English, British, German, Arabic, whatever you want, you know. 15 is pretty high. 15, they have 70 nations. 50, you can work. You can have a good jobs in the United Nations. I have a student of mine that his wife is working in United Nations only because she knows 5. And she gets salary 200,000. Why? Because she knows 5. Knowing 15, $500,000 kapara. Come in, resign from the job. You're going to get 15. One day he met a big rabbi. I'm not sure if it was the Stepler HaKadosh or Reb Chaim Kanevsky. It was either Reb Chaim or his father. He came into this giant. You know, Reb Chaim Kanevsky almost never spoke. Even the blessing that he gave, he said, Bo, bracha ve'atzlacha. Even the blessing he didn't say it any longer. Because every minute it was Torah. So this minister is coming to Reb Chaim. He said, Reb Chaim, I don't understand. How do you succeed to be quiet all day long? Listen to the answer of Reb Chaim. Reb Chaim said, the years that it took you to study, 15 languages. It took me to study how to be quiet in 70 different languages. I'm not talking, not English, not Bukharian, not Sephardic, not Arabic, nothing. I pure not talking. You see, listen to this, listen. Baruch, this is deep. They said, Benchu, Chacham better from Navi. Do you know that if you have a choice to go to a prophet or to go to a wise man, Talmid Chacham, you know who is better? Chacham is, why Chacham is better from Navi? I will tell you something you never heard. Only in BJCC at Minyan third floor. Wednesday night, the place to be. Do you know why wise man, Talmid Chacham, is better from prophet? Because prophet that had the prophecy from God, can he not share it? Can prophet say, I'm not obligated to share the information? Can prophet say it? Yes or no?
No.
You have to share it. Chacham have the ability to keep quiet. Prophet cannot. If you don't have the ability to keep quiet, you are a prophet, but they have somebody better for you. You know who is better? A person that have the ability to keep quiet. I want you to live here and said, כל ימי גדלתי בין חכמים, ולא מצאתי לגוף טוב משתיקה. All my years, I grew up among wise people, and I never find any better character from the character of not answering, of not responding. So the first advice is, remember that when people ask you, how is the day? Baruch Hashem, perfect. How is life? Baruch Hashem, excellent. How is your wife and husband? God give to the world, and God give to me. How is your children? The best children that I can have. Everything, do not complain. 1. Second, what's the greatest character for a human being? What's the greatest character? The greatest act in general, especially in marriage? What's the greatest advice to do?
Not to speak.
That's it, not to speak. To listen. Especially when you're a man. Do not speak too much. Listen to your wife. And ladies, they love to talk. Just let your wife talk. Don't worry, she's gonna talk. She's gonna talk the whole night. I have something important to share with you. I want to sleep. It's very important, crucial. Do not speak. Do not respond to something bad. Keep quiet. Last but not least, and with this one, I'm going to conclude. When you fall, do not fall down in your face. I have a couple that come into me almost every week. And I decide, very unusual, because time-wise I don't have, but I don't know why, because I love them very much, and I decide maybe to make a session with this couple. They come to me every week for 45 minutes to 1 hour, for already 4 weeks. And, last week, I changed the treatment, What did I did? I asked each one of them to come alone. I don't want you to be together. First of all, let's speak with your wife, and then I'm going to speak with you, okay? So now for 3 weeks they have little obstacles. This week when he came, he was smiling all day long. I see him smiling. I never saw him so relaxed and so happy. I said, Moshe, his name is not Moshe. I said, Moshe, what exactly happened? You look like a brand new man. You're so happy, you're so relaxed. I said, is there anything you want to say? I said, Rabbi, you know, Sephardim, especially Moroccan, Khamsa, I said, Rabbi, life is amazing. You don't want to share nothing. I don't know what you told my wife yesterday, last week. I told his wife a few things to do. And his life completely changed. He behaved perfect. Life is amazing. From crisis already a few years to perfect. I said, so Moshe, you don't have any questions? He said, I have one question. And gentlemen, listen to the questions. Ladies, when he asks the questions, I say, God, please help me to give the right answer. What's the question? $1 million questions. He said, Rabbi, now it's perfect. I cannot ask anything better. My question to you, Rabbi, is how do we keep this ideal moment? Because, you know, when we get married, in the beginning it was, what a love you had, what a love to your wife, and your wife loved you. And then 6 months later, 1 year, you wake up in the morning, you smell the coffee, and then you realize that your husband is not really Avraham Avinu, and your wife is not really Sarai Menu. Close enough, maybe, you know. And then you start to discover all the flaws and all the balagan. And then start love is going down. He said, Rabbi, how can we keep our ideal moments? This moment that you want to freeze it. What a question, what a question. Wow, it's a tough question. I said, wow, what a question. I looked at him and I said, give me a few minutes. I said, Borei Olam, God, please give me the right answer. Give me the ability to answer him and to answer all of us tonight. How do you keep ideal moment in life that you don't get tormented? And anyone here that's sitting down in this room, especially the one that married for many years, know that marriage can be so ideal, so perfect, and one day later, sometime 1 hour later, it looks like you're going to divorce. I don't understand. A minute before, I love you, you love me, we are a happy family. A minute later, your wife put you in the room with the pictures, to be or not to be? Not to be. You know the dart? I said, I don't understand. A minute before, it takes exactly, sometimes it takes a few minutes. Sometimes it takes one statement. You went to a vacation, you spent money, you were in a suite, everything is perfect. You made one comment to your wife, that's it. The whole vacation Kaddish. I don't understand, Rabbi. How do we keep ideal moment in our life? What's the secret? What a question, what a question. Anyone here have answer? Baruch, do you have answer to these questions?
Still searching.
Still searching. No, Google will not give you this answer. We're not going to give you. Rabbi Google will not going to give you this answer. Because of that, God made sure that tonight you're going to come. Do you have answer to these questions, the $1 million questions? One of the most strongest, the most difficult questions. Listen to the answer that I give him. Cohen, do you want to share something?
No.
Shmuel, do you want to share? Anyone here want to share? So I will tell you what I told him. A Jew always answers with the questions. We never go direct. They ask a Jew, what time is it? What's the time that the Jew answer? You don't have a watch? I ask you what time, just answer. How did they say? The Lubavitcher Rebbe one time was in a good mood. He was in a good mood, like always. But he was in a funny mood. So the Rebbe said, listen to this. 2 Jews bump into each other. How did Ashkenaz say to each other when they bump? Shalom? Shalom Aleichem, right? Now, the right way to answer is, if I tell you hello to you, what do you have to do? Right? Shalom Aleichem. Hello to you, right? You know how a Jew answer? I tell you Shalom Aleichem, a Jew answer, Aleichem Shalom, don't tell me Shalom. You Shalom, why do you tell me Shalom? I don't understand, I'm telling you Shalom. I'm blessing you and you argue with me? A Jew is a Jew. I told him I'm going to ask you questions. It came to my mind in that moment. I said, what's the most important things that they teach athletes, especially basketball? Israelis will have soccer and basketball. America, mainly basketball. Football, sure, no, maybe football. But basketball, we are pretty good. And soccer. Soccer, I'm the worst one. But when I was a young boy, I know how to play little basketball. My job was to be the center, the center. Even though that I was the shoulders, for some reason I know how to get the balls. You have to know where the ball is coming out. When it's coming down, when exactly I was expert to get all this. So, what's the first rule that they teach a player that's playing in the NBA? The most important rules in basketball, in any sport, especially in basketball. What is the first and the most important rules? Can you tell me what? Respect? Respect your teammates. Beautiful. What else? Nobody will figure out. It came to me, you know what? More important from being, respect your teammates, teamwork, because all these guys that playing good, like LeBron and all his friends, they're not really teamwork. They're the most selfish human being that exists. Because of that, they're so successful. Not because they share the balls. Every opportunity they shoot. Because of that, the rate of shooting is no. You know what's more important from shooting and having a teamwork and all this nice word? Is when you fall down. Do not fall down in your face. A basketball player have to know how to fall down. Because if you make the mistakes and you broke one of the legs, the hand, one of the bones, you just lost a career of $100 million every year. Did you know how many times a basketball player falling down doing one game? You know how many times they come? Footballs, aggressive, how do you call it? Baseball not so much, but football, very aggressive. Soccer, why soccer? They have shoes. You don't understand, if you get one of them, 3 weeks you walk like this. And all of them, they're falling down. But the first rule and the most important rule that they teach you have to know how to fall down. They teach it for a few months. They teach you how to fall down. All of them know how, they have a way to fall down, that you don't fall down and you get crisis. And I told these couples, nature is that we're going to fall down. Nature is that Shalom Bayit, we're coming from two different backgrounds, two different education. We are a woman and men. We're completely two different human beings. And sometimes we're not in a good mood. When we have ups and downs in life, physically, emotionally, we're all going to fall down in life. But don't crash. When you're falling, don't fall down in your face. Now we'll explain. You know what's happened to normal couples when they're falling? They go ballistic on each other. Suddenly they're fighting so badly. Suddenly you open your mouth and you take everything that you have. I wish I never got married. I wish you're the worst human being in the world. And then God forbid you're using verbally word that even to prostitute you're not going to use. She is your wife, the mother of your children. And you're going so down that you're crashing down. The first rule of life, don't fall down in your face. Make rules and regulation. How exactly I respond in time of crisis. What exactly I have to do when we're not in the most ideal moment. You have to prepare yourself. It's like preparing yourself. You know why Russia doesn't win? Yes, definitely, it's all from God. But I will tell you physically why. You know why Russia didn't win against Ukraine with all the weapons and bombs? Because I will tell you, for many years, and Russia didn't know it. Lack of knowledge, lack of, how do you call it, secret service, lack of Modi'in, how do you say Modi'in? Intelligence, lack of intelligence, a lot of Ukraine preparing themselves for years already for this war. They didn't surprise, they know it's going to come. They know, Russia never hide it, and for years they prepared themselves with unlimited weapons, smart weapons, that until now Russia doesn't know. They don't believe, you know how many pilots, how many Air Force, and especially chopper and tank, maybe 300 tanks in 1 week. They have a weapon, boom, every tank that's coming. What exactly happened? What exactly these people? They didn't prepare themselves to win in a victory. They prepared themselves not to get crushed in a war. Each one of us have to know how to prepare himself, to make rules and regulation when we have crisis, to make sure that it's going to be soft, that we're going to fall down in a cushion, and then we're not going to fall down in concrete floor. When you fall in, more important how to win a game is not not to lose your life because of one mistake of falling. You see, a player can be average player. He's still going to get $5 million in the NBA every year, right? 5 million, 10 million. If he's good, average and good, 5 to 10 million. He might not going to get 100, but he's going to get. But if he's falling down and breaking his leg, that's it. Kaddish. Nobody cares if you're the best player or not. You can be the best player in history. A minute that you fall down wrong, your history. The first thing that they teach you is do not fall down in your face. One of the advice that me and my wife got, and I say it with a lot of modesty, and I say it on behalf of my wife, not on my behalf. Because me, it's very easy for me, this is my personality. I don't take credit for God's gift. I don't know how to get angry, and forgive and forget in exactly 3 seconds. This is my nature. But my wife, for her benefit, and almost every woman in the room, when you're fighting, how long it take you to go back to normal? Now, normal woman need 3 days to understand why she get upset. 2 weeks to get upset, and 2 weeks to relax. 1 month your husband is going in the house. Why bad things happen to good people? Why? It's normal. Me and my wife, it took us 1 year. 1 year. Go and listen to this. 1 year. Dr. Yitzhak, to make the switch. What's the switch? We never transfer anger from one day to another. Do you know that? Not even from one day to another. To that day. We do not transfer crisis to another days. No matter what's the crisis. I feel alone, you're always in the community, you put in your life ahead in front of every rabbi, I believe, every person that sacrifices his life for the sake of the Jewish nation, from time to time hear these statements and they are emet. They are 100% emet. And we have to do teshuvah. I'm not telling you that she's wrong. But even in the most difficult crisis, we wake up in the morning always with a smile. We never carry issues overnight. You wake up in the morning, מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שחזרת והגעת, thank you for giving me another day. New days. ויהי ערב, ויהי בוקר. That's it. Now is בוקר. Now is בוקר. The ability, this one advice to tell you, when you're falling, don't fall down on your face. Don't make a mouse, elephants, crisis, balagan. You're on a vacation, enjoy it. No, I'm not going to talk to you. She's going to make your face. She's going to ruin 3 days on a vacation. Who is losing? Your husband or you? I don't understand. Who is gaining by being upset? Every day that you're not happy in that day, you lost a day that will never be back in history. Just lost a day. I don't care if you're right or wrong. A day that you're upset, you just lost a day. A day in your life. A day that God gave you a gift. Sit down with your wife and speak. In time that we argue, what do we allow to say? What we're not allowed to say. Write it down. Or maybe, my wife, I'm telling you from now, when you argue with me and when you are blowing up completely, allow me, maybe it's going to get you more upset, but allow me to leave the house for 1 hour. You have to plan yourself in time of war, how to react. Because then, the war is not going to end by you losing yourself and losing marriage. Nobody can promise you 120 years that everything is going to be lovey-dovey. I love you. It's good for the movies. What's the rate of divorce in the movies? Hollywood, 120% divorce. 20% got divorced before they got married. This is the rate of divorce. Nobody ever succeeds to manage, not even one, to manage marriage in Hollywood. The messages in the movie, 120 years of happiness, it's always smiling, and the husband is always sweet and sincere. It's good. In life, we have reality check. We are a human being. And each one of us have a flaws. And each one of us is making mistakes. And even though you're going to tell your wife, I'm sorry, you will repeat the mistakes. And even though she will tell you, I'm sorry, she will repeat the mistakes. So how do you deal with this? Prepare yourself to this moment. Prepare yourself to the dark moments in marriage. If a businessman will prepare himself to time of crisis, he will never have crisis. But what exactly happened to us when we're making money? We spend it like it's no tomorrow. We spend it like I remember when I was in Hong Kong 18 years ago, when people made money like it's no tomorrow. People came and bought Blue Label from the Mandarin Oriental, the second most expensive hotel in the world in that time. I was living in the Mandarin. You don't understand what the hotel. You buying Blue Label instead of buying it in the airport. You know how much they pay? Maybe 5 times higher, meaning $15,000 to $2,000 for a bottle. For what? To feel rich. They have money. Nobody stay in a regular room. Everybody stay only in the suites. And if you remember the crisis that happened with Barney Mac and all the economy that crashed down, and all the stocks went down, it was maybe 10 years ago. All of them cry. Why we didn't save the money? Nobody thought how to prepare themselves to the time that you're falling down. We will never fall down. So when you're falling down, you fall down in your face, you crash. If you're going to prepare yourself to the darkness moment, not because Chas v'Shalom you're wishing, because this is reality checks. And the world is going around and around. One day you're up, one day you're down. One day we have a good mood, one day. But you know what, my husband? Let's prepare ourselves how to behave and how to react and how to respond and how not to respond in time of crisis. And you will see that you will never have crisis in your life. Do you hear that? The first message is, remember, bless God for the good. And there's so many goods. Second message is, the best character is to do what? To be quiet. And last but not least, when you're falling, do not fall down in your face. Thank you very much.
Anyone wants to do interview questions now?
Yes, anyone that